talk about parabolas, okay? And parabolas you've already talked about before. We're going to talk specifically today about standard form of parabolas. You do not need to have this assignment done tomorrow. You don't need to have it done next Monday, but try to not put this assignment off for 2 weeks, okay? Sometime do a review on your parabolas. Parabolas that are in standard form are focused today. When you get back for break, we're going to look at standard or parabolas that are in vertex form. So, parabola looks like that. Whoop, I'm going to change that just a little bit. Sorry about that.
Dude, that was a really good three-handed parabola. So was that one.
Thank you. I practice, you know.
Yeah.
You do.
Part of what's important about a parabola is the y-intercept. Does anybody know by looking at this equation how we determine the y-intercept of the parabola? It is where it passes through the y-axis. One of these letters tell us where it passes through the y-axis.
C.
C, because if you plug in 0 for x, the first two disappear and you're just left with C. So C is the value for the y-intercept. These are all pieces you need to remember for the test. Shouldn't be any problem. You guys are super smart. What spot do we call that on a parabola?
A.
Starts with a vertex, yep.
Oh.
And yes, Ledger, we do use the letter A to try to find it, but there's a formula that involves more than just letter A to identify the x value of that vertex. What is that formula?
No, midpoint. No, distance.
You all have it in your brain. You don't know it. Can I show you how you can remember it? Folks, this is a retrieval error. So let's fix the retrieval error. Here you go. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a.
No, you didn't.
That is not what you use to find the vertex.
Yes, nice job, buddy.
Watch. Watch.
Oh, I'm watching.
Watch. This is a retrieval. That's the vertex.
Whoa.
Negative b divided by 2a. It's in the quadratic formula. It's part of it. And I think you all do remember the quadratic formula. So if you remember the quadratic formula, you can remember the formula for vertex. Negative b divided by 2a. It's right there. In order to get the y value, you simply just plug in the x value. And that will produce the y value for you. There is a line that goes down the middle of a parabola. Axis of symmetry. Thank you. The axis of symmetry, is it a vertical line or horizontal line? Vertical. Is a vertical line of the equation x equals or y equals?
Say that again.
Y equals.
A vertical line, does it have an equation y equals or does it have an equation x equals?
Y equals.
X equals.
It would seem y because it's up and down, but it is definitely an x equals equation.
It's okay.
And it's always x equals the x value of your vertex, negative b divided by 2a. The last things that we want to determine about a parabola are these points, which are your x-intercepts. And the way that we determine x-intercepts are we solve this parabola equal to 0. And we either factor it, or you can use the quadratic formula. Those are the things we're going to practice today, as we then give you guys time to do some work. Okay? Everybody ready? We got 2 problems. Flip it on over.
Wait, I wasn't done.
Thank you for speaking up.
Thank you. I'm getting it.
Good luck in your volleyball contest tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, that's where?
You too, Kenzie.
Where?
Mayo.
What did you do for lunch yesterday?
Are you guys gonna spread the mail?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I had yogurt.
Daniel Burger. Daniel Burger. Nancy, what you know about Daniel Burger? What you know about Daniel Burger? Yeah. What you know about Daniel Burger?
Holy symmetry.
Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about these 5 components of a parabola. You had a week-long, 2-week-long lesson with this with Miss Kruger back in 9th grade, 8th grade. And right now, we have a 1-day lesson on this because you also saw it in Algebra 2. This is a review day. We're going to be quick with it. We're going to be efficient. Look at this parabola. What direction is it? Up or down?
Up.
Why?
Because the x squared is positive.
Yep, it's a positive 2x squared.
Good job, Pete.
Let's identify the other easy component. What is the y-intercept?
-8.
-8, that is your c value on the end. So we know those two things right away. If you don't fill those two in, I make a phone call home and say that you're lazy. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Yo.
So what was the 2x squared?
So because the 2 is positive, it goes up.
Oh,
If
that's.
the number in front of the x squared is positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down.
So that's what you write for
Direction.
direction. Okay.
Yep.
X is a negative
You all good with that?
b.
Now, let's identify our A, our B, and our C values so we can determine the rest of these. Our A is 2, our B is 0, and our C is -8. Because there's no x value, or x variable, we have just 0 for B. So in our equation of -b divided by twice the A value, we have -0, which is 0, divided by 2 times 2, which is 4. And everybody knows that 0 divided by 4 is
0.
0.
What makes it 1? I can't remember.
Okay?
If it's does it make it 1 if it's a number over 0?
If 0 is on the denominator, then it's not 1, but it's undefined. So undefined if 0 is in the denominator, I honestly don't know. It would be 4 or 4 would be 1.
Yeah.
Oh, here's where you're at.
Yeah.
I got you. Anything to the 0 power.
there it is.
That's where your mind is,
Can you
okay?
have an air thanks.
All right. So how do I come up with the y value of the vertex? I plug in my x value.
X value.
And when you plug in your x value into here, you have 2 times 0 squared minus 8, which is -8. I'm ready to start generating my graph. I'm going to plot the coordinate 0, -8. That's both my vertex as well as the y-intercept. The axis of symmetry always goes through the vertex, just like so. So the axis of symmetry is always x equals, and it's the x value of the vertex. If you just write a number down, I take a point off. It's not a number, it's an equation for a line. You must write x equals, okay? And then finally, I go to the x-intercepts. I take the function and I set it equal to 0. And I solve it, either by factoring or using the quadratic formula. Does this factor?
Yeah.
Yeah, what can I do?
Take a 2 out.
They go to dose. Now I factor that to get x plus 2 and x minus 2. We've talked about intercepts before. That was back in chapter 1.8. You guys tested on that. You did really well. The x-intercepts are positive and -2. So you can see as I plot these intercepts, they are in fact evenly spaced from the axis of symmetry. And I draw my parabola up and through it.
Pretty tight parabola.
Why is it a tight parabola?
Because it's squared. Wait, what? I don't know.
Oh, because it's shrunk.
Because the 2 creates that vertical stretch, right? Yeah. There you have it. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Questions going once,
That makes sense.
twice,
So,
thrice. Let's move on to one that's a little bit more difficult. And this is where we'll end our instruction today is with this last one. Direction, vertex, axis of symmetry, y-intercept, x-intercept. What is the direction?
Damn.
How come?
Negative in front of the x squared.
1/4 is negative, very good. This heads down. The y-intercept is easy to identify. It is
3.
3. I'm going to find the vertex. The vertex is of the form negative b divided by 2a. What is negative b?
6.
Good. Positive 6 because you switch the value from positive to negative. And then we divide by twice the a value. What's 2 times negative 1/4?
2/8.
No, it's 1/2.
Good. Negative 1/2. Yep.
Negative 1/2?
Because it's negative.
Oh, yep. Yep.
If I do 6 divided by a half, that's the same
Negative
as
3.
6 times 2. Instead of dividing by a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So there's 6 times negative 2, which is negative 12.
What? How did I get that?
So glad, just one more time. Watch.
No, I get it.
You see? Okay, you're good.
100%
Okay.
get it, but
Well, you see 6 and 2, and I get it. You come up with 3, but got to multiply by the reciprocal.
I got it. Okay, so I'm just.
How do we come up with the y value?
You plug it in.
Just plug it in. I don't want to do that by hand. I'd rather use my calculator.
Oh, the calc?
I'll take out your calculator.
Oh my goodness. You don't need to ask.
Fine,
me.
wait a second.
You don't need to ask me twice.
Negative 1/4.
Your battery is low, charging the battery is right.
I'm going to speak to you as though you haven't ever done this before. So if you have, I apologize. But if I plug in negative 12, I like to just write down the exact function that we have, which is negative 1/4. And then it's times x squared. So instead of x, I put a parentheses, negative 12, parentheses squared. This is the best way to avoid making a mistake. And is it a minus 6x or plus 6x? So I go minus 6, parentheses, negative 12. Wherever I have an x, I just simply put parentheses, negative 12. And that's a plus 3. If you plug it in that way, you'll get the right answer. Your calculator understands order of operations. Just plug in a negative 12 instead of your x, and you get 39.
What? I did something.
No, I got a square.
So you used a negative sign instead of a subtraction sign. Okay, pause. Everybody watch. Okay, so Ledger had a small mistake. Instead of a subtraction sign, he used a negative sign. Instead of redoing it all, just go press second entry. It brings up the whole thing that you just popped in. And that way you could go back there,
Boom, 39.
press your subtraction sign, and enter, and there you go, 39. So let's go back to our sheet. We've got 39. I'm ready now to sketch my graph. Being I'm going up to 39, I'm going to make a 40 by 40 graph.
Yeah.
10, 20, 30, 40. And I will plot negative 12, positive 39. What should I draw next?
The axis of symmetry.
Sure, we can do that. Axis of symmetry divides it evenly in half. It's a vertical line, and the equation for it is x equals negative 12. It's always x equals the x value of the vertex. What's the next thing I should plot?
The y-intercept.
Y-intercept's at 3, be down here. Because we see that symmetry, we can simply just flip a point on over to the other side. The last thing I need is my x-intercepts. In order to find my x-intercepts, I'm going to take this function right here. I'm going to set it equal to
0.
This is part of what being in college algebra is. We want you guys to see that type of equation. Don't have any question about how we solved it. Let's admit, nobody here really likes the 1/4, do they? So what are you going to do? Multiply everything not just by 4, but by, how about negative 4, right? So I'll multiply through by negative 4, and I get a positive then x squared. Negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. And negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Sorry about that. I wrote an x to the fourth. That's definitely an x squared. Does that factor?
Yeah.
Absolutely not, right? So if it doesn't factor, what do we need to use? Quadratic formula. Negative 24 plus or minus the square root of, anybody here 24 squared? 576?
Yeah, you knew that. I need to count.
Minus 4 times A times C. Oh, one.
Good.
Wait. Wouldn't A be? Wait, no, sorry, it's not A. It's not A.
We good?
Wait, where?
Go ahead.
What is? Okay, so where's the one? What's the one again?
So the 1 is in front of the x squared.
Okay, got
Negative
it.
12 is on the end. We good?
Because the one's in the X, or the one's in A.
Is this going to be 576 plus, or is it going to be 576 minus?
Plus.
Plus. How come?
Because
There's two negatives.
Good. So we're going to add, so we have negative 24 plus or minus the square root of, and 576 plus 48 is 624.
No,
You don't have to use calc.
I'm gonna go with 6.
So I don't give you numbers this big on your assignment, okay? We're going through one to try to challenge your brain a little bit. Is it possible you could reduce the square root of
I feel
624?
like it probably is.
So let's just start with some guesses. What do you think 624 might be divisible? Or what's a perfect square you think might be? Let's try 36.
Oh, Carter, are you gonna be the dagger here, Carter?
Nope.
24.
24 is not a perfect square.
So can you try 49?
9, 624 divided by 64. No. I try 8, but 8's not a perfect square. It is divisible by none other than 16.
Nice.
Goes in 39 times. Okay. So we have negative 24 plus or minus. If I take out the root of 16, what are we left with?
4.
4 roots of 39, all divided by 2.
Wait, what? That was a good one, Josh.
Are negative 24, 4, and 2 all divisible by the same number?
Yeah, 2.
2. So we divide them by 2 and we get a negative 12 plus or minus 2 roots of 39. So that's the simplest radical form. You saw the first one was easier, this was a little bit more difficult, and I expect to see simplest radical form on your test, but you also need to plot the value. So you need to come up with a decimal. So on your calculator, just take negative 12 plus 2 roots of 39. And negative 12 minus 2 roots of 39. And we have 0.48 and negative 24.48. And as I go to plot these over here, 0.48 is just past 0, and negative 24.48 is just short of 25, negative 25, and so I get a nice shape.
I think I typed something wrong.
Oh, that's right. That's what we got. I got 0.48.
Oh.
Practice makes perfect, right?
So, Araya, if you were on the test and you got out negative 12 plus minus 2 roots of 39, is it possible you might wonder, did I do that incorrectly? That seems like an odd result, right?
Yeah.
Watch this trick. I gave you guys all the opportunity. I don't know if you did it or not, but if I press program and go to my quadratic formula, and I enter my initial value of negative 0.25, and it was my next value negative 6, and my other value is 3. Wasn't that our original parabola?
Yeah.
Press enter.
Wow. We could have saved ourselves.
Wait.
We could have saved ourselves.
If you guys want to go ahead and enter that into your calculator, you can. I put a 4-minute video online. This is all that you have to enter is this Hey, come on. This right here. There's a video that shows you how to do it. If you want to take a picture of it right now, you can. But that's something we like to use. Very handy. All right. You guys got a couple minutes to ask a question or get something down. Start working on that study guide. Maybe you want to look at the definition of a function. Try sorting through some problems.
So what am I?